We're live, I think.
We are live.
Hello
So
there.
far?
Hello.
We are live. Hello. Hello and welcome to Big Finish Fans 4 yet again. After last week having many technical issues involving me, sorry. Yes, we're going to be covering Dark Eyes. We've hyped this Dark Eyes up in our past Big Finish Fans. So we're going to be looking at all box sets. And yeah, let's do fans thing.
Oh, unfortunately you were lagging there, but I know what you were saying. He was saying
Wow.
introduce everyone.
Yeah, so go, introduction.
I'll go last. Remember the order?
Right, yeah. Go last.
Uh.
Yeah, the order.
Oh yeah, I'm second I believe, so yeah, hello, it's TJ Productions here, reviewing the lovely Dark Eyes.
Hello, it is TARDIS Guy 123 here.
Hello, it is the Eminence here, and we will destroy you.
Into the infinity of death.
Your fall to the might of the infinite. But yes, hello, it's Gustavus the Fibster here. Hang on. It is Gustavus the Fibster here, and that hurts my voice.
Alright, we found out Kai's eminence, and he's dying. But anyway, there's Kai.
Hello.
Oh, plot twist there, plot twist.
Plot twist, Kai is the eminence. He's
I
the
am the
creator of it all.
And I am David Sibley.
Yes, he's Marcus Shriver.
Yeah. Probably David Sibley than Marcus Schreier.
Imagine if you were.
I'm actually a middle-aged man.
So what's the first point?
Cameron's.
Would be Dark Shadows.
Ben, you're lagging, so we just have to just do it and make another point out. So we just want to start with news.
Yeah, the news.
I know you're good now. Alright, you can carry on.
Just ignore it when it happens. I'll just say
Alright.
Yeah, so
Okay.
should we start the Dark Shadow saying?
Alright, I heard you, Dark Shadows. Well, Kai can start because I know he's got a lot.
Oh, what's much to say yet? There was a Dark Shadow sale. When was the sale again? Was the
Way back when? It was probably about February?
Yeah, it
No,
was.
because we had a March one, didn't we? So it must
It
have
was the
been
end of March. Yeah, it was at the end of March. It was over the weekend.
Comes to that.
Yeah, and I got lots of Dark Shadows. If you look at my Gustavus collection update on my channel. So yes, I got plenty of Dark Shadows then, and the majority of them are very good from what I've got. Anything to expand on? Last one.
Yes, I actually did not take advantage of the sale because I actually had no money at the time. But don't worry, I've got loads of. Actually, these are the only ones I've got so far, which is the House of Despair, the Creeping Fog, House by the Sea, Last Stop, and the Dreaming of Water. And I've only listened to one so far, and the prequel to Bloodlust, which is Snowflake. And Creeping Fog is brilliant with Matthew Waterhouse actually playing absolutely a fantastic role. I think he's either Matthew Cunningham or Andrew Cunningham, if I'm right.
When it's
I forgot who the character is. Oh yeah, John Cunningham, sorry.
Andrew Cunningham is a character in Bloodlust.
Yeah, he is a character in Bloodlust.
But you've listened
Yeah,
to
Dark Eyes is a fab range, and on my new channel I'll be doing Dark Eyes.
Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows content. So, yeah, stay tuned for all that snazzy good stuff.
But you've listened to Snowflake then, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, this is the Snowflake prequel to. Is it the prequel to Bloodlust? Snowflake?
Yeah. What did you make of that 15-minute little teaser?
Yeah.
What did you
And
make
I'm
of it?
still yet to listen to episode 1, which was free on download.
What did you
I
make?
will eventually.
What did you make of Snowflake as a story?
Yeah, it was alright, it was.
Anything else? It was quite creepy, I thought.
Creepy. Well, I didn't really listen to it late at night. It was probably around about in the evening time, I would say.
Because Snowflake is essentially a monologue of one man talking about his time in Collinsport, which is the main setting of Dark Shadows, and I thought it was quite well by Daniel Collard.
I'll
Yeah.
probably, when I get into Bloodlust, I'll probably listen to it again, maybe late at night, so the scare factor didn't really approach to me that much, so I'll give it another shot later.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on when you listen to The House of Despair, which is the first Dark Shadows from Big Finish.
Have you listened to it?
Yeah, I've got it. I think it's quite a good little opening. It's quite a creepy story at times.
Yeah, and what's it called? The Book of Temptation you said was alright.
I'd say probably episodes 2 and 3 are a bit meh. Rage Beneath is better, but House of Despair is probably my favourite.
Yeah. Are you alive now, Ben?
Ben, you here? Hello?
Is it working now?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, there
Anything?
you
I'm good. Is
That sounds-
that... I've changed computers if that does anything.
Yeah,
go. Or hopefully.
hopefully. Yeah, but I've got I think about 10 Dark Shadows from the sale. Yeah.
I didn't buy any, but yeah, I have about 5.
Yeah, like- Did you get any, Luke?
No, I didn't.
Do you have any of the non-Doctor Who ranges?
No, not yet.
Because
Just
are you a
money.
fan of? I believe you said I might get mixed up with someone else, but did you say you're a fan of Blix 7?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm still in the
Okay.
process of watching the original series at the moment.
Yeah, I'll probably do that first, then get the audios. But the audios are really good as well, obviously, it's Big Finish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That 7's good as well.
Nah, he's still lagging again.
Oh.
Just keep going, Ben.
So what's the next point then?
It's about the license extended
Uh,
to 2020.
Ah,
Well, that'd be good. We got more Doctor Who stuff. That would be great. So yeah, a lot more monthly ranges. I don't know what the last. Well, yeah, it said the 31st of March 2015. Well, no, 2020 is where the license has been extended to. So that'd be good.
I think that's like 260th release or something around there.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good to hear. Another 5 or so years of Big Finish can't be a bad thing.
Well, yeah, the channel will be occupied then for another 5 years,
But we're still here.
reviewing all this.
All this Big Finish. There's so much to review.
Oh god, there is so much to review. Ben, you alive now?
Please do not swear.
hello?
Hello, hello, hello.
Chatter.
What do you think of the license extension then?
More classic Doctor, to keep the old kicking. But I can relate to even more with the way Big Finish is growing. It's just gonna get big.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of made out what you said.
I understand what you mean there, yeah.
Got the basic gist of it.
Yeah, I think it's expanding through the use of the, new one.
Yeah. Also, will we do? I know it's next, but will we do Doom Coalition last, like after Dark Eyes? I feel a bit more.
That'll
about
probably be a good idea.
I think we should just talk about Doom Coalition last, after after Dark Eyes.
Before we go over the big
Yeah, we'll do
topic of the thing.
that then.
We're going to go novel adaptations next.
Oh yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, we can do.
Of course, goodly we have. It's been. It's early to April now. The novel adaptations Volume 2 of Damaged Goods and Well-Mannered War, so that'd be absolutely brilliant. And yeah, Well-Mannered War is probably just a fantastic book overall. And also, I haven't read Damaged Goods, but I'm looking forward to those two. And of course, we got new releases as well, new announcements.
Theatre of War, All-Consuming Fire, Nightshades, Original Sin, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a to be announced 3-disc one.
which I think is called Fusion.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I doubt it'll be Lungbarrow because that's quite controversial.
Mm.
Well, I think they might give it a go. I don't know. It's quite a hard one to decide on, but
I doubt it because it will explore the Doctor's. The novel does explore the Doctor's past in quite a significant way. So they can't really omit any of that because that's the whole point of the novel. And plus, that'll just open up a whole can of worms with the BBC about what exactly they can show about the Doctor's past. So I doubt it will be Lungbarrow. But most likely it will be Doom Coalition, which is a multi-Doctor story, and all the actors who are in it playing the characters are available for the big film.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, All Consuming Fire would be interesting. The good
Really cool, yeah.
Sherlock Holmes sort of stuff.
Played by Nick Briggs.
We will be playing Nick Briggs. Maybe that might be getting into the. That might get me into the Sherlock range, probably.
There are some good stuff, like I've mentioned, the Tangled Scheme is something that you might really like. It's Hammer horror-ish, it's like Dracula, Sherlock Holmes fighting Dracula.
Oh, yeah, that does sound my sort of stuff. That does.
So as you can tell, it's not really an original Conan Doyle story, but it's a fan novel that has been adapted into an audio. I was listening to it the other day, and Tangled Scheme is actually quite a tense, really intriguing story.
Mm.
I've heard the Hounds of. Is it called the Hounds of Baskervilles?
The Hound of the Baskervilles. The Hounds of Baskerville is the Sherlock BBC episode.
Yeah. What's the one in the audio one? It's something similar.
The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Because it's an adaptation of the original story.
Mm.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it, but the story in general is good. I can't really account for the audios, but I'm assuming the audios will follow on quite faithfully to the original story.
Yeah.
I've seen the Tom Baker version,
Yeah, I've seen that.
which isn't very praised, but
No.
I've seen a few versions of The Hound of the Baskerville. And
yeah.
Tangled Scheme is essentially kind of a sequel to The Hound of the Baskervilles anyway. So it might be worth getting those two together.
Yeah. Have they announced a new Sherlock release, or is my mind saying no?
I don't think it hasn't been announced yet. I don't think so, but I'm assuming it's going ahead.
Alright.
The last one to be released was The Judgment of Sherlock Holmes, which was a box set during the years where Sherlock had supposedly died at the Reichenbach Falls, which
Yeah.
has been praised quite a lot by reviewers.
Yeah. So, Fourth Doctor, Series 6.
Well, we have to wait for Ben to see if he's alright.
Oh,
we have to get old Ben.
Sorry.
Talk to me
Am
then.
I alright? Am I okay now?
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Alright. So, as Luke said, the Fourth Doctor, he's got 2 new series, so he's beaten McGann's 4th series, so it's all good.
Woo!
It's all. Oh, Paul McGann.
Oh,
getting
Paul McGann.
box sets. He's getting box sets. He's getting epic storylines. Come
Yeah,
on.
he's getting the big stuff.
Tom Baker's just got individual stories in a series, but he's still lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to say good shit then, but
Well, anyway, Tom Baker did get a box set, and he's got a limited thing by himself, so I think Tom gets a lot.
Yeah.
A fair bit.
Making up for lost time.
yeah, exactly. By churning out
Oh
about,
yeah, and Lost Stories box set.
churning out about 10 stories a year.
He's got a lot. Good old Tom.
He'll catch up though. He's going to catch up with the other Doctors eventually.
Mm. The Wave of Destruction, are we going to go through its story by story for Series 5, or just do a general?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Just go through whatever you feel. Just go through whatever you feel.
Wave of Destruction sounds quite interesting, kind of set in the 60s and whatnot.
Yeah, the pirate radio station. Have any of you seen the film The Boat That Rocked?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be reminiscent of that time. Plus, there's another story. Plus, there's another story released by the BBC called Deadline, and that was set on a pirate radio station in the 1960s as well. So that's what I thought of when I first heard of it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I actually listened to that earlier today.
I think there was a two. I have to look on the Big Finish website, but that two-parter by Jonathan Morris is intriguing me.
Yeah, hang on.
But I
what's the
can't
film?
remember the names off by heart.
Hang on, we'll just go by them in order first. That's the
Oh.
range.
Can't remember what it's called. Something at Buda Castle.
And
Just getting up Fourth Doctor.
Actually, I think that is the second one.
Wait a minute, wait. My
Sorry,
computer's-
I'm jumping the gun, Kai.
My computer's slow.
Right, let's try and find it.
Here it is. The Labyrinth of Buda Castle.
And that's Alan Barnes, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's Eddie Robson.
Oh God.
Yeah, that
Oh.
one looks quite interesting, I think. Kind of like set in Europe and whatnot.
Sounds like a romp.
It
Yeah.
sounds like one of those fun things.
Hmm.
I'm not too.
I mean,
I'm
the
not too-
Doctor and Romana decide to take a holiday. That just basically sums it up, really.
And obviously, shit goes down because they can't have a holiday in Doctor Who.
Shit
No.
goes down.
Yeah, just look at Brighton. It took them years to get to Brighton, and then they just left there after 5 minutes, having an adventure with some tachyons on Argolis.
They're returning to Brighton. I was
Oh, yeah.
actually going there for the first time because it would be set before the Ledger Hive, wouldn't it?
Obviously, yeah, chronologically, they go into there beforehand, but they might as well go back there again
Yeah, and chronologically they're going there
for the first
100
time.
years earlier or so.
Yeah. Timey-wimey.
Yeah, but anyway, Paradox Planet and the Legacy of Death.
Oh, that sounds like an
That's Jonathan
interesting
Morris
idea.
two-parter.
Yeah, 2 time zones at war on the same planet. That sounds like an interesting idea. Obviously, Johnny Morris can pull it off. He's done some good
Yeah.
timey-wimey story.
Yeah, Jonathan Morrissey. Yeah, he's probably a favourite writer of mine.
And
Four
Tom
parts as well, so
Exactly, yeah. So like a proper length story. And
Yeah.
Tom Baker and Nala Ward being reunited with Tom Chapman, although not playing Duggan this time.
That was interesting.
Be nice to see Duggan back.
I think his character's all tied up in copyright disputes, like who exactly owns the character of Duggan, and it's just too much rigmarole.
Yeah, that's the only issue.
But Tom Chapman is in the Blake 7 range, and he's doing a good job from the stories I've heard of him.
Which is the
Is that Dale
so-
Grant or something like that?
Yeah, he plays Dale Grant, who is the brother of Avon's ex-girlfriend, who he killed, and he has to admit to Dell that he killed his sister.
Uh,
So that was quite a recurring thing. What did you say, Ben?
Which is the series what's got Drax in?
Yeah, that's this series, the one that's we're talking about now, Drax.
that's the fourth. That's the sixth one, sorry.
The
Let's
next
do
one-
Gallery of Ghouls first, the fifth one.
yeah, the one set in Brighton.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that one.
Ah,
I think it's going to be one of these, like, funny sort of things where it just sounds a little bit comedic to me. It's going to be like a comedy sort of thing.
it could either go all out
That's
horror
what-
or all out comedy.
It's
think-
going to be either one because ghouls. This just sounds like just like a funny name for ghosts. But,
Yeah, Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Alan Barnes. I think it's more Alan Barnes whimsical. Yeah, it's more Alan Barnes whimsical, I think.
And so yeah, I'm not really too chuffed about it. But maybe it might be all around horror, which will be nice.
Then John Dorney's The Trouble with Drax.
I'm looking forward to that.
Joining the God.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. See if Ray Brooks brings something to Drax that they didn't really on the TV show. He was just there. He just happened to turn up in episode 5 or something. Shrink, Tom Baker, and that's it. And have a few cockney lines.
I wonder what they'll do with him here. We don't really know anything about the story except it's got the return of Drax in it. Because there's no.
No, we don't really have a
description or
we don't
anything.
really have a plot or a blur. We don't have anything.
Yeah.
I've got the Black Knight.
And that's the same with the next ones, the final two-parter, Pursuit of History, and as it loads, Casualties of Time.
Nick Briggs.
Which is
David Warner will be in that.
Nick Briggs is bringing back Cullifus, who's played by David Warner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Mr.
nice.
Doric and the Black Guardian.
By David Troughton. Played by David Troughton, I think, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder if they'll link that to the Well-Mannered War.
Possibly.
No,
Possibly. I'm assuming.
I don't think they will.
I'm assuming it's set before the Well-Mannered War because the Well-Mannered War is meant to be represent the end of the Graham Williams era.
Yeah.
Chronologically, the
Yeah.
Well-Mannered War is I think it's after Sharda.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure when.
the stuff set between Sharda and Leisure Hive. That's it. So I'm going to assume the series is set before Well Mannered War because it was intended as the end of the Graham Williams era, and then after this it leads into the JNT era where the Doctor's wearing
Yeah, so
a
Well-Mannered War is probably the last in that season 17 area.
Yeah, and then it goes into
So this will be set in between the Black Guardian's 2 appearances.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard David Warner play Cuthbert. Is he any good? Well, I'm assuming he's good with David Warner, but is the character any good?
I,
I haven't heard. Well, I haven't really heard from any David Warner stuff on audio.
I haven't heard any of them.
He's a
But
very good character.
I've heard he's a good character.
Is he, Ben?
Yeah, series 2 is brilliant. I mean, Sands of Life, his first stories in, he's fantastic in that. Him and Tom are great in that. They're great. Yeah, I do like Cuthbert, and Cuthbert and the Daleks are a great little sort of duo.
Do you have all of them from season 2?
I have all of series 2. And
Have
it's
you listened to all of them?
Practically all of them, yeah.
Which one?
Do you only hate the antimatter, the
I hate
antimatter,
that.
and do you like all the other ones?
I like all the others bar antimatter.
What about Phantom of the Deep? Oh, that's mixed. Phantom of the Deep is mixed.
Oh, Phantoms of the Deep, I thought was a cracker.
Is it?
Ah.
I don't really know much about that. It's just the Doctor going into the Mariana Trench, and that's all I know about it.
It's quite an odd story. I mean, the blurb sounded really good for it, and I was really impressed with part 2 and stuff. K9 gets quite a bit to do. You'll be quite glad to hear if you like K9.
Yay!
Have you reviewed Series 2 yet, actually?
I haven't looked at Series 2, but I may do an overview of Series 2 in the future.
Might be a good setup for Series 5 because that's got Cuthbert's returning, so it could be a good recurring point for that.
Yeah.
No, I might actually do that. Yeah.
Should we have a quick talk about Series 6?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go too far in that. There's basically nothing, but rather it's just in the season 18 area.
Yeah. 9 stories set either in between Meglos and Full Circle, or Alessia Hive and Meglos.
I'm guessing like 4 of them will be after Leisure Hive, and then the rest will be after Meglos.
I'm not sure how it can be
Why they
set
chose to do that.
because Meglos, at the beginning of Full Circle, it has the Doctor talking about how he just left the bloke from the end of Meglos on Earth, and then it leads straight into Full Circle. So I don't know how there can be a gap between Meglos and Full Circle.
That's what they said in the blurb when they were talking about season 6. They said some will be after the Leisure Hive and some Meglos.
I suppose it can
Maybe
be.
the man from Earth is coming back. He's going to be a companion when they try to get him home for a couple of stories.
Possibly, but I doubt it. But, you never know with Big Finish. They could bring back
Yeah, you never know.
that one ginger bloke for a couple of adventures.
He never even got a name. He was
He could expand on his character. He could be, the new. He could be the new Adric.
Oh, God.
We'll get you back before you leave. And when I say that, I mean in 2 years' time. Like the fifth Doctor could never get Tegan back because he was so crap at piloting the TARDIS.
God. I wish he got her back sooner, though.
I mean, it's hard to believe that he would have got that humanoid back in one trip and taken about God knows how many to get Tegan back.
Yeah, but the fifth Doctor was crap at piloting the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Because he was addled, that was his excuse. Oh, I was addled into my regeneration. I can't pilot my TARDIS. Just because you can't drive properly, you blame the ship.
Yeah.
Well, how do people feel that it's going to be set during Tom's last series?
Doing season 18.
Yeah.
Well, I think he'd just be like his normal self, like you hear him in season, 4 and 5. He'd just be absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I'm okay with it, to be honest.
Just gives them an
I
excuse
think
to use a different costume on the cover.
But maybe not any of this. I'm not really a fan of any of the 80s scoring too much, but they'll probably put that in it.
Yeah, they confirmed they're putting that in it.
Because, they put some. When I listen to like The Romance of Crime, which is like totally season 17, it has some epic music in it. But, season 18 will feel unique because of the music change and the sound design. It'll be a lot different.
Majority of the time, Big Finish do have some great composers, so they do know what's good music. And I don't think they sacrifice good music just to replicate the music of the era, which was a radiophonic workshop. I think they've still used their own music in favour of bad music.
The Fifth Doctor box set, though, that was very 80s music, but very good music at the same time.
Yeah.
I think there's a happy medium there in using stylistically like the 80s, but still good music in general. Like
Hopefully they'll do that kind of music for this.
I mean, the Lost Stories were sold on the fact that it was so reminiscent of their eras that they used the music from there, but they still used good music as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
I might have got that box. I should have got that box set on sale actually. I might get that box set on sale now.
It's 25 quid, why not?
Amazon have got it cheap. 16 quid.
Well, I don't know
Get it now. Buy it.
I don't know about Amazon.
Buy
It's the thing which makes the Fifth Doctor good. Really good.
Psychotrone is amazing.
Yeah.
Good old
This
Jonathan
Light
Morris.
is very good too.
I like iterations.
Yeah, I like
I think they're both. They're both good.
Iterations of
I think everyone got a shock from Equilibrium, but that was a surprise.
Yeah, you said it was going to be crap.
I said it was going to be pure garbage. I know I said it.
You all said it was going to be crap, and it blew your socks off. So there.
Yeah, it was good. Peter did good.
Ready to move on to the next point now?
Can I just finish off the Fourth Doctor for a minute?
Stop
Yeah, sure.
jumping the gun.
Because we've got, Jago and Lightfoot returning.
Oh
with
yes, I remember.
Tom.
Oh, they're just so brilliant. They are.
Mm.
But I've got a feeling that season 6 is going to be Tom's last proper series. I think the rest are just going to be little bonuses from Tom. Because I think season 18 sort of hit
I can't see him to go on forever because he's getting on now, Tom. And if he leaves, I respect it for him because he's done good already. So
The thing is, he is singing their praises a lot. And he said he wanted to donate his body to Big Finish.
How are they going to use his body?
He said
big
something about stuffing it and putting it in the reception.
Oh, imagine the credibility you'd get if you had Tom Baker's corpse stuffed and put on the mantelpiece.
I'm just thinking of Nightfall right now. Nightfalls.
Oh yeah, like Nightfalls.
Oh, stuffing.
Stuffing. Don't take out his eyes. Don't take out his eyes.
Rip out Tom Baker's eyes.
Ooh, let's not go there.
No.
This is just getting way too dark.
Sorry about this, audience. We're not gonna rip his eyes out.
That sounds like we are. We're not. Don't worry. We're not going to rip his eyes out. Don't worry. Don't worry, kids. In terms of what you said, Ben, about it possibly being Tom's last, I don't think it will be. I think either we'll just go back to the beginning, maybe have another Leela series, or maybe a series with Tom on his own.
Another Hinchcliffe box set would be brilliant.
Or maybe with
Yeah.
Adric.
Apparently they're planning one of them.
I think they
I
might.
assume it'll go in the, what's it called? The dual cases, like the Third Doctor adventures and whatnot.
I hope not. I'm not really a big fan of them, if I'm honest.
Should they do a gap between the Hand of Fate and the Deadly Assassin? Because that's quite a big gap.
That is a big
Yeah.
I think
I think a lot of people want a new companion for 4.
I'd quite like to see that to introduce a new dynamic for Tom Baker to work on. I'm not sure how he'd feel about it, but I think he'd do it because he does trust Big Finish. But I think you're more likely to have a series with him on his own with Matthew Waterhouse. In fairness, so I'd quite like to see that. I would. Yeah, that
I'm not sure if a full series would be too much though for the gap, but then again, Big Finish have taken really small gaps and just stuffed loads of them in there before.
Yeah, like Planet of Fire and the Caves of Androzani has about 3 years in between it.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
whole.
and she's wearing the same outfit.
The,
the
the
whole-
whole BBC book line, all those flipping stories is huge.
Harry, do you not change your clothes? No, not until the twin dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
And
a
then I wear-
huge gap.
And then I wear a crap costume then as well.
Mm.
God, it's crap.
Yeah. But it's come on, it introduced Eramem, and I like Eramem.
Yeah.
But the gap is a bit extensive, I will admit.
I had the Scorpion was my first, and she was in it, and I liked her. She was good.
I think it's unreasonable to have a gap between Time Flight and Arc of Infinity because they are two aliens and they don't really age at the same rate with the Doctor and Nyssa, so it's a bit more likely there's a few years between them. And plus,
Yeah.
if you watch the 2 episodes back to back, it does feel like some time has passed between them.
Yeah. And I know this is irrelevant, but I might just get away. I watched Time Flight today, and I gotta be honest, I actually quite enjoyed it.
Woo! Come on! It's about
I don't know why, but I enjoyed it.
But,
No.
so you hate Davison? Well, not hate, but not the
Well, I
biggest
don't
fan.
hate him, I'm always teasing about it. I don't hate him.
You just dislike.
It's my least favourite. I don't know why, but I think this is quite a good story.
It's a guilty pleasure story. It's like Time on the Rani for me. It's guilty pleasure. I like Time Flight, even though I know it's a crap story.
I know. I don't know why, but I just sat down and just flipping enjoyed it.
The
Exactly.
most popular story from your least favourite Doctor is something you enjoyed.
Yep.
Well,
Makes no
You're
sense.
You were complimenting Spare Parts earlier.
I hate all of Davison's good stories, but I like his shit ones. So I didn't like The Visitation. I think
I don't
Kent is a load of crap.
Yeah, the Visitation.
Earthshock's overrated.
No, I didn't see that yet.
Well, Case is alright. I like Case, but I don't know. Maybe it's my favourite. I don't know.
Oh,
what about Fort to Doomsday? What did you think of that? Or haven't you seen that yet?
Actually, I like Fall to Doomsday.
oh, Christ.
Oh,
That was bad.
It's a good.
No.
Even I hate Fall to Doomsday.
No.
Maybe I just like all the crap Davison stories. I don't know.
That's what it is.
Actually, I don't like Warriors though. That's a load of crap.
Yeah, poor taste still.
Well, I've made Kai happy.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
Time Flight.
You made me happy.
I've made
Oh.
Ben just like lose his mind.
Yeah.
What two now then?
Should we
Yeah,
go
let's
to
get up
Dark
and-
Eyes? Let's go to Dark Eyes.
And then
Yeah.
Doom Coalition.
Not Terrorhawks.
No, shut up about Terrorhawks.
No.
Who cares?
That's in the bin now. That's in the bin.
We'll
Oh,
have, one,
Terrorhawks never happened.
we'll have one more box set and then that'll be it.
Oh no, not even one. This...
I think they will.
And Terrorhawks, what the fuck, gone. Bang, gone.
There are
Yeah,
people
no
out there.
bleep, but much of the language.
There are people out there who have bought it, so you know, people are interested in Terrorhawks for some reason, even though the episode they downloaded for free was a bit nah. Not my cup of tea personally.
Why waste your money? Why waste your money on that?
We're gonna move on to Dark Eyes now. Or just keep trashing Terrorhawks.
Let's go back onto Dark Eyes, the good shit. The good
Probably
Yeah, it's the good shit.
Probably people buying Jerry Anderson's shit. The Jerry Anderson completists. Carry on.
There we go. So, what are our thoughts on the first Dark Eyes box set? Because it's just
It's just. It just takes your breath away. It's an absolutely strong release, and I think this is I can't remember. I think this is where I got introduced to McGann as the Doctor. I think this was my first McGann thing I got. Of course, I think everyone loves this, unless you're called J. Arkham Reviews. You don't like it.
evil man. 2 Doctors is better than this.
James doesn't like Dark Eyes.
For some reason, he wasn't a fan of the first one.
Well, I'm going to go into his Facebook and spam him for not liking Dark Eyes.
Wow.
There is nothing to hate about it. But do you want to go? Should I just go for each individual episode?
Yeah, go through them individually and
Are we
then
getting
your
on?
favourite.
Are we all giving overall views first, then going to go into detail? Or are we
Alright,
going to do it
alright, I'll do
I
that.
don't go into too much detail because of people watching, because it may spoil it for them. So
I won't go
sort of
too
keep it
far. I won't say too
brief.
much.
A couple of sentences per box set, or a sentence per episode in each box set. What are you going to do?
Go through the episodes and then your overall thoughts on the box set itself.
Okay.
Alright.
Just getting
I
the
won't go too far. Yeah, the Great War follows on from the Eighth Doctor adventures after To the Death, where we say lovely goodbye to Lucy Miller. Won't say what happens, but that's for all of you to find out. And yeah, Dark Eyes, the Eighth Doctor's lost all hope. He has no hope left, and he doesn't really go to the nicest place in the world, which is the Great War, which is it's World War One. Then meets a character who's played by Ruth Bradley, who is Molly. Again, we all love Molly, the tardy box. She's feisty as hell in this. And yeah, the Great War is just a brilliant start, I gotta say. And Fugitives, again, it's absolutely brilliant. Again, it's a lot of action I remember in it, and the Doctor and Molly get some nice scenes at the end where they're on the planet having a swim together, which that's a lovely scene on this. Good old McGann getting some, and yeah, that was a nice one. McGann's getting it
In the back seat of the taxi.
Oh no, not the taxi. He's more.
No, McGann does it in cooler ways, like in the ocean. McGann makes love other ways.
God, are we actually doing this live?
I'll continue, I will. With the Tangled Web. I think the Tangled Web might be my favourite from the first box set, actually. Because it's like Power of the Daleks, it is. Which I love. The Daleks are very sly, they are. And, yeah. What they do is quite finny stuff, it is. I love it. Yeah, Tangled Web's good. Some very, very interesting character in Molly's as well. And also with Cotris, which will be very interesting, which I will save to you. And X and the Daleks, which actually I can't remember too much of, but the only thing I say about it, I wish it was longer. That's all I wanted out of X and the Daleks, but I thought it was good. Overall, this is just, perfection. It goes over the scale, it does. If you haven't got it, get it right now. I don't even know why you haven't got it.
What are you
Forget
watching
it.
this for? What are you watching this for? Go on to bigfinish.com and buy it. Don't watch this. Buy that.
Just buy
And
it.
then watch.
And then watch us. When you bought
Buy
it.
it. Listen to it. Then come back to us.
Then we'll be proud. Oh, come on. This is just so lovely, it is. Alright, so anyone else go next?
Do you want to go next, Kai?
Oh, we're going per box set, kind of circulating for each box set, are we?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go like, it'd be a long speak with each person, so I would just go box set to box set.
So, Dark Eyes 1. This is probably the first thing I actually purchased from the Big Finish website, not from eBay. So yes, it's quite important. And having listened to the BBC radio series prior to this, I knew exactly what I was getting in for this one. And I'd say it bleeds from McGann's Independent series into this a lot better. I mean, brilliantly done with the fate of Lucy being quite an integral part of this story, but it's not essential. Obviously, I'm not going to say much more. Are you just pissing about, Tom?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Pissing about with a copy of Dark Eyes. So yes, I'd have to rate probably Dark Eyes Series 1 is probably the best of the whole series, if I'm honest. The first box set was designed to be independent of the rest. It wasn't meant to be a continuing series of box
That's
sets.
the one.
Yeah, this was just meant to be one story on its own, but then it was expanded later by Matt Fitton and the like. It's still a good story as a whole series, but yes, box set 1 is the best. Episode 1, Great War, is a great historical story set in the First World War. Introduces Molly brilliantly. She's a bit more. It's a great kind of introduction for a companion. She's a bit narky and a bit sarcastic, but she kind of mellows as the series goes on. The Fugitives is a good little reminiscent of the Daleks' master plan, where the Doctor and Molly are being pursued through time. So we go to the evacuation of Dunkirk, and then we go to an alien planet, and then we meet Sally Armstrong, who plays an important part later. And then we go into the Tangled Web, which is an odd story, I'd say. I'm not sure what I think. It took me a re-listen before I really understood what was going on in the Tangled Web. Yeah, but it has as the Daleks, a different side to the Daleks. Really, there's a kind of they show a good side to the Daleks, but in kind of the deepest way, as Tom said. But it's an odd story, and that leads into X and the Daleks, which is a tour de force for Paul McGann, and I'd say Toby Jones, who plays Cocteris, is brilliant in this, and what's his name now?
Raxus?
Peter Egan, who plays Straxus, is brilliant in this story as well. I'd say this whole box set is just a tour de force for Paul McGann, and you'll hear a lot of that as you go through this hangout.
Oh yeah, Paul McGann.
And I forgot to say about Fugitives, it reminds me of The Chase a little bit. The Daleks chasing them through different locations, like
Yeah.
Baker Street and the alien planet. So it's like the Master Plan and The Chase a little bit.
Because in Big Finish, the Doctor is a neighbour of Sherlock Holmes, because he lives in the same street.
Yeah.
Oh.
Next.
Phoenix Smith 11, your time to shine about the lovely Dark Eyes.
Now this is perfection. This is pure gold. I mean, the Great War. What an opening. I mean, there is one bit of criticism. What this story always gets is when McGann changes his clothes, which I think is a bit of a stupid point to make. At when does McGann change his clothes? It's a great introduction, and I love the idea of the Daleks in the trenches. I think they just work in that landscape beautifully. My personal favourite, The Fugitives, out of the whole of the Dark Eye series. I just love the sort of epicness of the story itself, and obviously having McGann enjoying it because he's a big sort of history buff. So having him in Dunkirk and World War One must have been fantastic. Tangled Web, great story for the Daleks, but I will say it's very much a character piece for Molly. That is a story what sort of shows Molly's past and explains sort of the origin of Molly, as it were. And the Daleks are fantastic, very devious and sly, which we like to have. X and the Daleks, brilliant twist. There's a really good twist. And as Kai said, it's a twist, and it is definitely a fantastic box set, and definitely is the best Paul McGann release out there for now.
Get it.
You know, the
Yes.
relation.
Get it, or I'm after you.
The thing about sorry to interrupt you, Luke, but the thing about the Paul McGann's outfit, it's meant to be set during Fugitive. You know when he falls into the water at Dunkirk. There's
Mhm.
meant to be a scene omitted from the script where Paul McGann walks out and comes out of the wardrobe with his his wet Edwardian clothes, and he changes them and says, "What do you think?" And she says, "I don't like them." So that was originally going to be in the script, but they just edited that out because Nick Briggs didn't really see the point of having a change in clothes scene. It's not really that important. You can chart when he changes his outfit.
Change their clothes between stories, and there's no real bringing up of it.
Exactly. So yeah, there is a point where he changes his clothes. Yeah, so it's between Dunkirk and his arriving in the next location. That's when he changes his clothes into the leather gear.
Oh, McGann and Molly on the biplane. Oh.
Whoa.
yeah. Mm.
Tom, do you want to talk about Dark Eyes 2 now?
Oh yeah. Dark Eyes 2. Now, Dark Eyes 2. Sorry, what was that, Kai?
Hasn't Luke got the first box set then?
No, I'm still waiting for it to go on offer again.
Damn you, postage.
Guess it. No excuse.
Sorry, you carry on.
Alright, as always going to do. Dark Eyes 2 has a very big challenge for follow-on Dark Eyes 1 because it was supposed to be independent and that was supposed to be the only box set, so it had a tough time following from X and the Daleks, but it starts off with The Traitor, which is the Dalek episode where they're on Nixus 7, which if you're a fan of Dalek Invasion of Earth, you should like it because it's like that in space, which is pretty cool. And also the Dalek Time Controller is really cool in that episode. And I love throughout this whole box set, he has like these introduction scenes with all the individual episodes where he's talking about the Eminence, and the way he says that he's so intrigued about the Eminence is so sinister. I love it. So you can tell that the Dalek Time Controller is very interested in something big in this episode. And also the Daleks themselves fear about this new threat, which is the Eminence, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, The Traitor, it's a good episode, I think. It's not really the best. I found it a little bit slow, and the plot takes a lot of bit of kicking in. You don't really know what the story's about until you get the rest. You get the full understanding about it. I haven't listened to it in quite a while, so I can't really remember too much about it, but I thought it was okay. And The White Room, which was absolutely marvelous. I think it should have been the introduction story for Dark Eyes 2. This is where Molly strikes back in action in Dark Eyes series, but she wasn't in The Traitor. That was with Liv Chenka. But yeah, The White Room's good with the Virons. I wish the Virons were in more stories, because they are actually a really good foe, they are. And I'd like to see some confrontation with the Virons and the Eminence, because the Virons were built with the purpose of wiping out plague, and they were probably seeing the Eminence as a plague, so that would have been some good confrontation, but it didn't happen. And then we have with the Eminence introduced in Times Horizon, which is probably the creepiest Eminence story ever, where they are isolated on this spaceship, which is fantastic. David Sibley plays them absolutely brilliant, he does. And then we end on Eyes of the Master, which, well, I think everyone knows it anyway, that Alex McQuaid plays the Master, and absolutely fantastic. I didn't really get connected to his Master straight away in Dark Eyes 2. I believe Ben said the same thing. But his brother in Dark Eyes 3, he built up fantastically. He was quite he had some good moments where he says, "I don't think you have the stomach for it." So really intimidating to the Doctor, which I love. And yeah, it ends on a very, very big cliffhanger, which was a horrible wait until Dark Eyes 2 to Dark Eyes 3. I thought it was a horrible long wait. But overall, Dark Eyes 2, wrong box set. Alright, Kai's having a chat.
No, I'm not having a chat, I'm watching the telly.
It's like echoing. Do you mind going on mute?
No, I've got one. Is it my go? Is it my go now?
Yeah, it's your go.
Yeah. Okay, so Dark Eyes 2. Not as good as Dark Eyes 1, but still a reasonable box set. Traitor, I say this was more focused on introducing the companion Liv, who appeared in Robophobia, but you don't really need to listen to that, because I didn't. So yeah, this is really expand on Liv's character, who she is in this Dalek war. The Daleks are attacking Nixus 7, and yeah, so it's more just like a wartime story, an invasion story with the Daleks, but the Doctors have come into about halfway through the story, at which point he comes around and tries to resolve it in quite an unexpected way. When it brings back the Dalek time controller from the BBC, from the 8th Doctor Independent range, who appeared in Dark Eyes 1, as I forgot to mention. So yeah, he plays a bit of a more minor role than he did in the first Dark Eyes box set. Yeah, but chronologically, this is set to Paul McGann, the last adventure in the box set, because this is set after episodes 2, 3, and 4 for the 8th Doctor. So you need the whole box set to understand this story a lot more. Yeah, good introduction for Liv and a good battle story, but a bit slow paced, I think, at times. The White Room. I quite like the White Room. It's a nice, interesting story set post World War One. Just about, and it features the Virons. I quite like the Virons, who are essentially what's the word to use them? Doctors of the universe who try to purge the universe of these viruses, which is an element used in Nick Briggs's stories in the main range, like Patient Zero, Blue Forgotten Planet, and I quite like the Virons. They're quite a mysterious species, and I quite like this setting of the Virons in this, but it's more like a standalone story in this box set. It doesn't really contribute much apart from reintroducing Ruth Bradley as Molly O'Sullivan after the end of first Dark Eyes box set. So probably my favourite episode of that, Dark Eyes 2. Times Horizon. This brings Liv back into the fold and introduces her to the 8th Doctor properly, as well as Molly, and this really introduces the Eminence into the series proper. I quite like that. Who fought to the might of the Infinite?
Yes, we know Kai is the Eminence.
I am the Eminence. And this really does hurt my voice, but so. So yes. The Eminence is really quite creepy in this story, because it's essentially set on a spaceship at the edge of the universe, so it has a really kind of claustrophobic feel. Something a bit like, I think, if any of you have seen Solaris, it's a bit like that in that sense, you know, a ship at the end of the universe trapped with only the crew. So yeah, and the Eminence is possessing a corpse that's about 1 million years old. So yeah, and this is where Liv joins the TARDIS properly. which leads into the next story, Eyes of the Master, which brings in Alex McQueen's Master, who previously featured in Unit Dominion, although he was credited as the other Doctor because he was kind of a surprise. But after this box set, that surprise has now been spoiled.
Yay.
Yeah, but he did a great job in Unit Dominion, and really Dark Eyes is his way of expanding his Master, and he does that a lot better. But we'll talk about that when we get into Dark Eyes 3 and 4. So yeah, a good little story, a bit whimsical, I'd say. The Master takes over an optician's. It brings Sally Armstrong back, and it kind of explains why the Master and the Eminence are becoming involved in this plot. And yeah, so this box set is mainly designed to set up the next 2 box sets, I'd say. But it's still,
Yeah, with
good stories in their own right.
with the enemies and all like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a setup for the rest rather than stories in their own right. But yeah, still good stories. I'd say fairly good stories. So yeah.
Benny Smith 11.
Oh, Dark Eyes 2. Yeah, it's a pretty good box. The Traitor seems a bit disjointed, as everyone said, compared to the rest of the box set itself. But as Kai said, it is the last story chronologically in the box set. But it is very much Dalek invasion of Earth in space, as Tom said, and we get Robo McGann, which is good.
Robo McGann.
Fantastic. Yeah, Liv. I have to say, I'm not a fan of Liv in Dark Eyes 2.
She's a bit snail.
She just doesn't seem to connect with her in The Traitor. The White Room, I really do like. I re-listened to it today, and I just love the idea of this sort of plague and this sort of dead coming back and the Virons, and it's just great. I do like that, and the introduction, the pre-title sequence. Time's Horizon, it reminds me of a Patrick Troughton story in The Mommy on the Orient Express, and it is my personal favourite from Dark Eyes 2, because I think it's the strongest Eminence story, and you really get the sense of threat of the Eminence in there. But after that, they sort of decline and just become sort of a passing thing, really. Eyes of the Master should have gone to Specsavers, really, instead of going to the Master's Opticians. But yeah, Time's Horizon sort of does lead into Eyes of the Master, with us being reunited with Sally Armstrong, and obviously making the pairing of the Master and Sally Armstrong. Eyes of the Master, back to that. It's very sort of, if you like zombie stories, then you're going to like that, because you've got the Eminence. I remember, I think. But yeah, the cliffhanger. What a wait! What a wait for Dark Eyes 3. And,
horrible wait.
Let's see if Dark Eyes 3 delivered on that front, shall we? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Ben is just so enthusiastic right now.
Oh, lovely. Our favourite box set.
Poor old Luke's been all quiet, so now he can shine.
Yeah, Luke can
Can
shine
I go
about Dark
first,
Eyes 3.
not Dark Eyes 3?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can shine now.
Well, starting off with The Death of Hope, I think it is a great start to the box set. I love how the Doctor's kind of pushed to the background of it, and the Master is taking centre stage. It really gives Alex McQueen a chance to shine on his own terms, and personally I think he does a wonderful job as the Master, really menacing. He's my second favourite, with obviously Delgado as the first.
Yep.
And it's mainly his story, and it kind of obviously, what's her name, Sally Armstrong gets to play the role as a companion, while Molly sort of gets to play a bit of a role in it. But because she's being manipulated by the Master, she's not herself too much, so yeah, she doesn't really get the best stuff to do in it. And then the ending with kind of like the Master and whatnot, it all goes very well in that story. The Reviled, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where the box set steps down for me. It flips it around so that the Doctor's now in the forefront and the Master's in the background, but nevertheless, it's just not too interesting. Luke's back, and she plays a decent part in it, but overall the human characters are quite annoying in this story, I find, and the Ramosans aren't too much better, to be honest. And it's quite a downbeat story, and I'm not too keen on it. but then Master Plan, it steps right back up again. You've got Doctor and the Master trapped in the hull of a spaceship that's about to explode. And there's a wonderful double act between the two, and they really do very well, kind of like psychoanalyzing each other and whatnot. You really do listen to it just for them scenes, but also the other scenes with Liv and whatnot are quite good also, but it's mainly the Master and Doctor scenes that I'm there for. And then, what's it called? Rule of the Eminence, that's it. It builds up so much. The first half of that is just amazing. It keeps building up and building up, but then when it gets to the midway point, it kind of like just stops, I guess, which is the flaw with all these stories. And for the second half, it's rather flat. It's not got the build-up of the first half or anything like that, and it's rather, it's not a poor ending, but it just doesn't live up to what had gone before it, I'd say. So overall, Dark Eyes 3 is good, but the ending's not too good, and also the Reviled isn't the best either. So 2 very strong stories and 2 okay stories.
Do you want to go next, Ben, or should we leave the best for last?
I'll go last, shall I? I'll go last to keep.
Alright, you go last. Alright.
Build up your anger.
Dark Eyes 3, well, you know what I always do, because I've already done an overview video of it, so you know pretty much what my thoughts are, but yes, Dark Eyes 3, it goes on from that horrible cliffhanger we had in Dark Eyes 2, well, actually, no, I won't say it, actually, but yeah, so it goes to the Death of Hope, where it's pretty much a Master story, and you could say it's Dr. Light, but he's watching the events with the character with Narvin, which they have some, I can't remember it too much, but I think they had some good dialogue between each other. Something about a cup of tea, wasn't it, Ben? Or something like that?
Yeah, you've got Earl Grey or whatever it is, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, some great dialogue. The Master is brilliant in it. He's does manipulate a lot, and also the Eminence as well. They have a good confrontation between each other, which I like. The Death of Hope, I think it is the best from the box set, I would say. Yeah, I'll probably agree with that. Even though it's quite McGann light, but I still really enjoyed it. And we learned something quite dark in that episode as well, which I'll leave that to you. And the Reviled, which I think it absolutely stinks, to be honest. It's a slow story. When I looked at it, I thought it had the Macra in it, but no, it's not the Macra. It's the Claw, so I thought, oh, is that the Macra? But no, it's not the Macra. Yeah, it's the Remotans. It's the Remotans who, yeah, they're not that great. The characters are rather dull, annoying. Liv Chanka has a bit more to do in this set, which I like, but still, she's a lot more better in the next box set coming out for Dark Eyes 4. In the Reviled, I think it was a bit of the stinky one of the whole series. I think it's the worst episode out of the whole series. Master Plan, which is it's literally the Doctor versus the Master on the ship, which is about to blow up. And also we see a very interesting character who is Marcus Shriver, who I will just leave all to you actually. I won't say who he plays him either because I might give it away, but yes, when I heard Marcus Shriver in this story, I sort of knew where the Eminence would go, and I thought, I know what's going to happen now. So I found it a little predictable, which was unfortunate nonetheless, because I sort of knew what was going to happen to the end of it. And then Rule of the Eminence, to be honest, I found no build-up in it whatsoever. I found it it didn't work for me. The Eminence sort of depart in it, and sort of don't. You have to wait and see what I mean by that. And what happened to Molly as well, which made a lot of fans think, what the hell's going to happen in Dark Eyes 4? Again, I will not say, but yeah, it's not the strongest out of the Dark Eyes releases, but it's still good. The Death of Hope is fantastic, and also Master Plan, but yeah, I got the same thoughts, but Reviled stinks, and the Rule of Eminence stinks. But the other two are great. Yeah, that's my thought on Dark Eyes 3. Kai, you there? Because I think we should leave the best for last.
Waiting to be introduced. So yeah, Dark Eyes 3, probably the weakest box set of the series in general. The first episode, Death of Hope, is a good story. It's probably a reason why I quite like to have an independent master range. Just have Alex McQueen traveling in the universe with a companion, just faffing about and being a bit nasty. So I quite like Alex McQueen to front his own series for that reason. Yeah, I'd say Death of Hope McGann takes a sidestep and its focuses on the Master and Sally Armstrong. Gets an opportunity to expand both of their characters a lot more and get to see a different side to them as they help these people, although they are just helping them for their own ends to try and find a cure for the Eminence or how to control the Eminence or whatever. Ruth Bradley is probably features most prominently in this of the whole box set, and like I said, she's possessed, so it's not exactly the best characterization, but it's not Ruth Bradley's fault. It's the fact that she's possessed. So yeah, it's a good series opener, good different perspective on the series. The Reviled, undoubtedly the weakest episode of the whole of Dark Eyes. I just find it quite boring, to be honest. It was designed as a way to look at the different extents of this Eminence war with the human race, where having the human colonists trying to coexist with the Ramosan inhabitants. I just found the constant back and forth between the Ramosans and the humans just a bit tedious. Trying to negotiate peace terms. It's like the Silurians only a lot less interesting, and the Ramosans are a pretty forgettable creature. Master Plan, I'd say, is my favourite of Dark Eyes 3. Its main focus is on the Doctor and the Master trapped in a room on a dying spaceship, so it has like a claustrophobic feel to it. Alex McQueen and Paul McGann are brilliant in this story, and it's good exploration of their characters and the dynamic between the two. But also, what wasn't really mentioned much is the fact that this story also focuses on the dynamic between Sally Armstrong and Nevchenko, who doesn't really get much expansion through Dark Eyes 2, so this is a good opening for her of Liv's development as a character. And I quite like the scenes where Liv and Sally are trapped together, and it's quite a tense environment they're in. Again, David Sibley as Marcus Shriver is a good character. He's obviously, I might just say, he is the bloke who created the Eminence, although maybe not to the extent that you'd expect. Although he's played by David Sibley, so that will give you a clue. So yes, I'd say probably my favourite of Dark Eyes 3 is Master Plan. And Rule of the Eminence, it's a bit of a messy story. This focuses on the Earth following the Eminence War and the Master trying to use the Eminence to retake the Earth and obviously take over the Earth, because that's the Master. Bit of a messy story, but the Earth does get controlled by the Eminence, and this is really where they feature the most. I'd say it's a bit of a weak ending to the series, although the acting is good. It's just not a very interesting story. It's losing my interest fairly quickly. And it also has a very important point for Molly, which is unfortunate, although the important point of Molly isn't really executed that well. But that's all I'm going to say on that particular element. So yes, Dark Eyes 3, weakest story of this, weakest box set of the whole range. But it's reasonable. It's a reasonable couple of stories in there to listen to.
Now we come to the best part.
Yeah.
Fire away.
I think the cover art says what the box is like, really, doesn't it? No effort's gone into it whatsoever.
Bit bland.
Death of Hope. I'm not a fan of Doctor Light stories, as a rule goes, but this, I have to say, Alex McQueen carries it off nicely. But my big sort of criticism with Dark Eyes 3, and this can't be helped, is Ruth Bradley. She's hardly in it, but that was because of filming stuff, because she had other things on.
Yeah.
But Death of Hope, that's pretty good. It's alright, really. The Reviled, now I did have a big hatred for this story. Now I did re-listen to it about a week ago, and I liked it.
I thought you were going to say you were shitter.
God. Well, that's the thing. I thought right up until sort of chapter 8 or whatever it is, it's crap. But as soon as the Eminence come into play, it starts to heat up a bit more, and then as soon as that's happened, the story's finished. Master Plan, that's quite good. It's my favourite from Dark Eyes 3. Just it sort of reminds me of the Third Doctor and the original Master Delgado. It sort of has that sort of quality and style of a story, and it's nice to sort of have Liv and Sally have a bit of bitching going on, which is great. And of course, what happens to Sally in the story is definitely interesting. Nobody cares about Sally. She's bland as a salad.
How cruel.
But
Landy Wandy.
No, carry on.
Robin Bland.
But, where was I? I don't like the idea about the Eminence's sort of origin. I really don't like that. I think the Eminence deserve a better origin. Rule of the
I think they should
Eminence.
just remain
Rule of the
mysterious, to be honest.
Oh, gone.
Oh, there you
Rule of
go.
the
You
Eminence.
accidentally dropped it. The thing
I
that I didn't
accidentally
like
dropped
about
it.
no, go on, Ben. You do your thing, and then I'll say it.
Oh, it's just a mess. Really, it's a.
Out of all of them, it's
Scramble
probably
just-
the messiest story.
It is
Messy,
really
messy.
messy. I mean, you just listen to it. I mean, the thing with the Rule of the Eminence, what I like about it is only sort of two redeeming features about it, is that it sort of harks back to previous Dark Eyes box sets, which is nice. And the ending, that's the only two things I like about it. The ending, oh god, the ending. Yeah, but overall, Dark Eyes 3 is utter shit.
Oh god.
That's very
It's
damn
utter crap.
verdict.
It is. It doesn't deserve anything more. I mean, I'll rate the box at 5, just 5. I might go lower actually.
Go 4.
I might go
Or
lower.
even lower than like 34.
All right,
I give mine a 7.
all right. I don't know what to rate it. It's just crap, really. Don't waste your money on it. Just skip that.
Just get
Okay.
Dark Eyes 1, 2, and 4. Just do that.
Yeah. You're not missing out on anything, to be honest, in Dark Eyes 3. It's just sort of a mess. So you're all right. You can skip it.
Yeah,
It
the
would
thing
be
I didn't
more
like-
expensive that way. You should get the bundle.
Alright, just get the bundle and sell Dark Eyes 3 on eBay.
Yeah, listen to Dark
I don't know
Eyes
if you
2
get a lot
because it is kind of important for Dark Eyes 4, if I'm honest.
Hmm.
Listen to it
Listen
once.
to it once, then sell it on eBay.
I don't know why I'm slagging it off. I think it's alright. I gave it a 7. I think it's fine.
I give it an
Dark
8.
Eyes
I still
4,
give it an
sorry.
8.
Yeah, I don't think it's as shit.
I don't think it's shit as Ben. I give it an 8. I think it's a good. I think 2 of the stories are really strong, but the others are crap.
I'd go 8.5 or 9.
Ooh,
I
no.
won't go 9. I think that's too high.
Anyway, let's get back to talking about good things with this next one.
I was going to say something about the Eminence, about their origin. I wish they were known as these godlike beings, not like this,
Lab experiment.
an experimentation. Known as the gods, godlike beings. That would have been brilliant because their voices, they sound like gods.
Yeah, I prefer this kind of like mysterious element that they had to them.
But
Now that's
I
all
don't think-
gone, really.
I still like I still like them. I just don't
I like the
think about their
concept,
origins.
but just with the mystery now gone
Yeah.
about their origins.
Yeah. Oh well. Can we move on to something a bit more positive?
Yeah.
Shall we? Because my blood pressure's raised a lot.
Let's go back to the good shit. Let's get some good shit.
Hmm.
The good shizzle.
Who's going to start?
You want to start with Dark Eyes 4.
Should you
I'll
go,
start if nobody minds.
Yeah, go on, Luke.
A Life in a Day. What a wonderful story that is. That is my favourite out of the 8 Dark Eyes stories I've listened to. It's just, well, it is a bit disconnected from the rest of Dark Eyes 4. I still love it for what it is. And as a standalone, it works very well. It expands Liv's character a lot. John Dorney has done an excellent job with the characters in there. Martin Donaldson, he is wonderful. He's a great character to listen to. And overall, the characters are what you listen to that story for. And on the first listen, it's best that you go in knowing almost nothing about it. That's what I went in like. And I think it was much better for it. So I won't even compare it to anything because that will kind of spoil it. And then there is The Monster of Montmartre.
Underrated gem.
My least favourite from Dark Eyes 4. It's not as bad as The Reviled.
No.
Nevertheless, I don't know, I feel the first half was very good, all that mystery brought up. But then all that stuff doesn't really go anywhere in the second half, I feel. A lot of the characters that they introduce just go nowhere. And
I think one of them goes somewhere.
Yeah, but nevertheless, it just feels a bit of a waste. And I feel like the concept would have worked better as a standalone release. You know, kind of like these Daleks, damaged Daleks wandering around Paris, kind of like being really scary and whatnot. The kind of stuff that was set up in the first half that is completely dropped in the second half, unfortunately. So what ends up being there is okay, but overall, I feel it was not the best. And then there is Master of the Daleks, which is basically the high point of this box set. It's what it builds towards, and then goes down a bit again in terms of climaxing and whatnot. But I do quite like this story. I feel that the Sontarans could have had a better role in it. It was kind of like set up to be Daleks versus Sontarans, but it's not really like that at all, to be honest. However, the Master, of course, played by Alex McQueen, he is once again wonderful. He gets some great lines in this, some great interactions with the Dalek time controller. All that stuff's very good, very nice to listen to. And it's the Doctor Light of the series, which is a bit of an odd choice.
I wouldn't really call it Dr. Light. I wouldn't call it that Doctor.
I would say the whole
Well, he's
box
not
set-
really involved in the main story, to be honest. He's unconscious for a fair bit of it. And there are some funny scenes at the end, though, where he wakes up and goes, "Oh, what's going on here?" and whatnot, and is totally baffled, but fumbles his way through everything. Although, I don't know. And then, of course, there's Eye of Darkness. It feels a bit too neat for my taste. It feels like it's simply there to tie everything together, and as I said, it doesn't really feel like the thing that it's building towards. It feels like it's the epilogue, whereas Master of the Daleks is what it was building towards. And obviously there's some stuff about the Eminence in there, which I won't go too in depth to, of course, but no, it very much feels contained, and there is some good stuff in it. The Dalek Time Controller is wonderful in the story. Liv gets some good stuff to do in it, and Paul McGann also finally gets some hope at the end, you know, what he started out searching for in Dark Eyes, and he gets his hope and whatnot, and that's all very good. Yeah, that's my basic thoughts on Dark Eyes 4.
Can I go next then? Or
Yeah, you can go next, yeah.
alright, Dark Eyes 4, where it all ends. The last box set, and you know, I think I might prefer this more because I rate it quite high. I rate my second favorite box set out of all of them, but I think all the stories are pretty much there. Life in the Day is it's a characterization, it's a character piece. It is, especially for Liv. This will make you love Liv's character. There's some great moments with Martin Donaldson, who is played by, I think, was it played by Barnaby Kay, who's actually Liv Chenka, what's her name again? Nicola Walker's husband. So, yeah, which is quite nice to see them have some playing together in the scenes, especially in the cinema. So that was quite nice that he did. And yeah, Life in the Day is a nice story. Some nice twists in it. It's not dark or no serious, no Daleks in it. It's nothing like throwing you all this like this. It's not throwing you like loads of stuff straight away. To me, it's a little standard, and to be honest, I find it quite overrated. I wouldn't see it to be the best from the box set, personally, because it feels too disconnected, and it feels like this is in the gap of Dark Eyes 3 and Dark Eyes 4, and then Monster of Montmartre would be the introduction story, and something else, and Master of the Daleks and Eye of Darkness. But personally, it's my least favourite out of the box set, to be honest. I think it's I think it's a tad overrated. But that's my personal opinion. The Monster of Montmartre, the underdog, the one that gets trashed by a lot of people, but I don't trash it. I think it's a nice story. The gang gets quite a lot to do in this episode, which is, you know, quite nice. I love part 1; it's quite mysterious, and also that introduction with the Daleks screaming and echoing, very atmospheric, which I love. I love the first half and the second half. I think is all great. The only thing I don't like about it is one of the characters becomes the bride to the time controller, That cheesy stuff, I hate that. That's probably the only thing I hate about it. It's just so cheesy. But that's Matt Fit, and that's the only thing I didn't like about it. But Monster and Montmartre is good. And then my favourite, Master of the Daleks, probably one of my favourite stories out of the whole series, to be honest. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I know some people call it Doctor Light. I personally don't, even though he's not really connected to the plot too much. But I think he gets some good scenes in it. He's not light in the whole box set. I don't see that personally. But yeah, Master of the Daleks I love. Alex McQueen, fantastic as the Master. Dalek Time Controller, getting some fantastic lines between the Master, which I love, and yeah, it's one of my favourites as well. And the Daleks versus the Sontarans. Personally, I wasn't really looking to see that. Obviously, I wasn't looking to see that. I wanted to see some Dalek and Eminence action, not really Sontaran action. But yeah, I was satisfied with what happened. It wasn't really what I was looking for. And then we have the Eye of Darkness, which literally just mops everything up and finishes everything. And that it just concludes everything and mops everything up. It wasn't what I was looking for. I wanted a lot of Eminence action. As I said in Dark Eyes 3, they sort of departed and sort of didn't. So you have to find out what I really mean by that. But it doesn't have to go in a massive dark bang, because the Eighth Doctor has some terrible stuff to him. At least he gets something nice. He does. So not every ending to a series needs to be absolutely humongous and dark and anything like that, but yeah, he gets something nice, which I like, and also a brilliant character returns somewhere in Dark Eyes 4.
Yes.
And yet, overall, Dark Eyes 4 is actually a very strong release, I think. It's just, unfortunately, the ending was a little, I wanted more Eminence, that's it. And Life of the Days are tad overrated, but overall, it's good.
Okay, Carl.
Yep, so here we are, Dark Eyes 4, second best of the series. I think this is really a return to form for Dark Eyes after box sets 2 and 3. I thought this would be like overpacked with villains like Dark Eyes 2 was, but I think they used in a more reasonable degree here. It's not chocked full of villains, obviously because they announced the Sontarans, but more on that in a bit. As everyone said, A Life in the Day, a standalone character piece written brilliantly by John Dorney. The characterization of everyone in it is absolutely marvelous, especially Liv Chenka gets some expansion as a character, and it's just a really interesting point of view on a kind of typical sci-fi time travel element. It's kind of a different spin on that, and that makes it feel quite original. But yeah, all characters in this are well fleshed out and brilliantly performed, and it's a bit more divorced from the series, but it doesn't lessen the impact of this great story. So the next episode is The Monster of Montmartre, probably the weakest of the set, but it's a good story. It's just, as people have pointed out, it's built up as this big mysterious story, but it doesn't really work because there's a Dalek smacked right in front of the cover, so it's not really much of a surprise. Surprise when it's revealed who the Monster of Montmartre actually is. But yeah, there isn't really that much to talk about, apart from the location, which I quite like, of an early 20th century France. I quite like that setting, but apart from that, there's not that much. And something about the Bride of Time Controller is a bit naff. I have an idea. I don't really know why that was inserted, but there we are. Weakest of the set, but still a reasonable story. Obviously, the best of the set, the highlights of Dark Eyes 4, and possibly the highlight of the whole Dark Eyes series is Daleks. This is really the villain chock-a-block episode with the Master working with the Daleks. As soon as the Eminence failed, he thinks, "Oh, we'll work with the Daleks. Why not? Sod it." So yeah, he's now changed his allegiance to the Daleks, and he's working in an alternative timeline where 1960s Moscow has been taken over by the Daleks. And I'd say that's one of my favourite things about Dark Eyes 4. It has a lot more variety. Dark Eyes 3 was just set in the future colonies, future space station, and all that. Dark Eyes 4 feels a lot more varied in its location, and one word I've used a couple of times is colourful. The sets, the more the locations rather, feel a lot more colourful and a bit more variable, so I quite like that. Performances, spot on from Alex McQueen. This is his best outing as the Master. The Sontarans are used quite interestingly in the story. I don't think they're underused. I think they've been used differently in the story, and in the end they get they get everything they deserve. You know, they get a bit of well, I won't say what happens in the end. Paul McGann's funny in this story because he's been addled by moving to a time rift or something. So yeah, he gets some funny lines where he thinks a Dalek is his companion. And again, another great performance from Nicola Walker. So probably the highlight of the series, in all honesty, Master of the Daleks, which will be written by John Dolan again. Eye of Darkness. I'd say a satisfactory conclusion to the series. I'm glad that it didn't go into the whole, oh, let's have a big climactic epic battle where everyth's resolved in this one thing. I'm glad that Dark Eyes had a bit more of an understated climax rather than the big epic one. About the Eminence being a bit of a lesser feature, I did actually say when I was reviewing Dark Eyes 3, I hope that the Eminence is taken out because they had a whole box set devoted to them, and they can't really continue having lots and lots of villains in it. You'll just make everything chock-a-block. So I'm glad that they didn't feature as much. They only featured slightly in Eye of Darkness, so I'm kind of satisfied that they only featured briefly. Dalek Time Controller, brilliantly performed by Nick Briggs. I haven't mentioned him much in this one, but this is really Time Controller at his best, in all honesty. He does a great job here. It has a different dynamic to play, and obviously he has a really important part to play in the role of the Eminence, as does Mr. Marcus Schreiber, who David Sidley has reprised his role from Master Plan. So yeah, a satisfactory conclusion. I'd say it's tied up everything Dark Eyes has done in a reasonable manner, and I can't really complain about it. I think it's a good story set on the Eye of Orion, someone we don't normally we hear a lot about. And probably my favourite thing about this story is something that doesn't really get mentioned much is we discover that the Doctor has finally found his hope. I mean, the whole point of Dark Eyes 1 was that he was looking for hope after the events of To the Death. And in this story, he finally clarifies that he has found that hope travelling with Liv. And so it's a bit more of an optimistic ending than To the Death or to other stories. So yes, Paul McGann, I have to say it, for the whole series, Paul McGann has been absolutely fantastic. He is just a marvellous actor and my favourite Doctor. And Paul McGann is just brilliantly in this, and I'm so glad that the Eighth Doctor has found his hope in time for the slightly morbid-looking Doom Coalition. So yes, I'm glad. Yeah, so I'm glad that got that characterisation from Paul, and it looks like we're going into a prosperous future with the Eighth Doctor. So yes, Dark Eyes 4, utterly marvellous, brilliant box set, and the whole Dark Eyes series in general is worth checking out, even Dark Eyes 3. So that's all from me. Goodbye and good night.
We're not ending yet, but alright.
I know, I'm just
Doing a Doom Coalition.
doing a big camp bow out. So yes, that's my thoughts on Dark Eyes 4.
Drop the mic.
Ben?
Oh, Dark Eyes 4. I don't know what to make of it really. I mean, the box set itself comprises of each story has, it's based on a different character. So Life in a Day is very much Liv. The Monstrum of Mart is Paul McGann, the Eighth Doctor. Master of Daleks is clues in the title, Alex McQueen. And Eye of Darkness is the Dalek Time Controller. Now, my criticism for this box set in general is it is very much McGann light. In my eyes, I feel that there should be a bit more McGann meat in the story. But Life in a Day, very good, as everyone says, very beautiful. And as TJ said, it is quite disjointed, and it is sort of my least favourite in the box set. But I think towards the ending, it builds up to where the storyline's going with it, which is great, and does set up the rest of the box set nicely. Monstrum of Mart is my personal favourite of the box set, because I love the pre-title sequence, and I love that. Maybe this is because it's my favourite because it's got the most McGann in it. I don't know. But I love the Dalek Time Control. It's quite a sinister story, and it's great to see him back in action again. Master of the Daleks. Now, I have to say, sometimes they did have a good concept and a good idea behind them, but I feel that they weren't really necessary. I feel they were just there for fan service and just sort of overcomplicated it. And yeah, as Luke said, they do get a battle with the Daleks, but it's not as big as the Five Companions, if you listen to that. And Eye of Darkness, it's great to see Liv in the Dalek Time Controller having a bit of banter, as it were. But I just find it a bit of a messy story, and it's not satisfying because I feel that Nick Briggs should have wrote the final story because I think it was his sort of child and he should have wrapped it off nicely. But did Matt Finn write the last one?
No, I
Eye
don't.
of Darkness. I think that it should have been Nick Briggs writing it, but yeah, it's an okay story. It's not that satisfying, but it definitely is leading the Eighth Doctor in a new direction. So yeah, Dark Eyes 4, pretty good box set, but I'm going to have to re-listen to it because I don't really have full sort of thoughts yet because I've only listened to it once, so I'm still sort of on the fence about it really. So there we go, the
It's good
Dark
to
Eyes
see.
overview done.
Yeah, you just have to
Yeah,
rank them all in order.
Yep.
Yeah, do the box sets then. So I think it's obvious which is our favourite first box set, really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Dark Eyes 3.
Dark Eyes
Oh.
3 is the best box set.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Breathtaking.
I think we can all
It's not
agree.
saying sarcastic.
I think we can all agree.
People actually thought we were saying it.
It's brilliant, Ben. It's brilliant. It's the best.
Dark Eyes 1, yeah. I think we can all agree Dark Eyes 1 is the best.
Yeah, Dark Eyes 1 is the best.
I
Everyone
would
says
agree if I had it.
Yeah.
get it.
Disagree with us
Buy
anyway.
it.
Yeah, I'll rank them in order. Yeah, this is definitely last, Dark Eyes 3, because it was all Matt Fitton. He tried his best. He had pressure writing the whole thing, but yeah, it's good. But two really not good stories, and the other two I think, are brilliant. But yeah, as I've already overviewed it, but yeah, I'd give it an 8. I still think it's a strong release, absolutely, but not the strongest. Then Dark Eyes 2, which I think has some fantastic build-up to Dark Eyes 4 with the time controller, very interested with the Eminence and all like that, which I like. And I think, yeah, again, all the stories are pretty good. The Traitors are probably the weaker one for me, personally, but it's still good. But yeah, and the Eminence at their creepiest, definitely in Times of Rising. It's probably my favourite Eminence story. And then we have, personally, I love it, Dark Eyes 4. It all ends. Yeah, maybe overrated start and a tiny bit underwhelming ending because I wanted Eminence, but again, they're all brilliant personally, the stories, and Master, probably one of my favourite stories of all time in the series. And of course, we have the best. Everyone says it's the best. If you don't, then you're lying because this is the best out of the range. All the stories are just fantastic. Great War, I'll give it probably a 10. Fugitives a 10. Tangled Web a 10. I'll probably have to listen to X and the Daleks again though, because I can't really remember it too much. But I wanted it to be a bit longer. But yeah, this is perfection as its best. It's probably my favourite Big Finish release ever. Dark Eyes. It's brilliant. But yeah, this is the winner. It is the winner. Anyone else?
Anyone?
I'll go then. I'd have to agree that Dark Eyes 3 is the weakest for the points I've just made. Half of the stories aren't particularly interesting. Matt Fitton tried to write the thing on his own, but he's no Nick Briggs. But he's written some good stories for the main range. It's just this time he's just had a lot more pressure, obviously, to carry out the thing himself. So 4th place goes to Dark Eyes 3. 3rd place goes to Dark Eyes 2. And we're getting feedback on my guess. Hello. So yeah, Dark Eyes 2, again, great characterization, I'd say. It was a great job at setting up characters and setting up villains, but it is just that, it's mainly a setup. 2nd place, Dark Eyes 4, again, great characterization, great stories, good film, Dorney's contributing, and obviously has a great master of the Daleks. We got the whole series up satisfactorily, and obviously the best has to be Dark Eyes 1. It's just probably it is the best of the range. I mean, if that was just a box set on its own without the rest of the series afterwards, that would just work brilliantly on its own as a standalone. Great performances, great writing from Nick Briggs. the Daleks are used probably in the best they've ever been used in Big Finish, I'd say. And obviously, the two stalwarts of the whole series, Paul McGann and Ruth Bradley, are absolutely marvellous. Particularly Paul McGann spearheading the whole thing as the absolutely marvellous Eighth Doctor.
You're brilliant, Paul. Ben, Luke, who wants to go next?
3, then 4. Just.
Alright, now Ben.
Oh, it's kind of obvious what's the last one for me, though, isn't it? Really, Dark Eyes. It's Dark Eyes 3.
1 is last for Ben.
No way, no way. So last place is Dark Eyes 3. Then third place is Dark Eyes 4 because I've only listened to it once, so I don't really have a full judgment on it yet. Then second place is Dark Eyes 2, and of course, the masterpiece of Dark Eyes 1. Absolutely fantastic. And it just shows, I think that box, it just shows how brilliant the Eighth Doctor is, and definitely, if you want to check out Paul McGann, definitely check out the original Dark Eyes box because it definitely sells you on the Eighth Doctor, and it's an epic tale, and it's just splendid. There we go.
What would you probably rate Dark Eyes, the range as a whole?
Oh, I would rate it about a 9, I suppose. Yeah,
Yeah,
9.
I forgot to do that in my video, but I would rate it a 9 out of 10.
Maybe a 9, maybe an 8, I'm not entirely sure. What about Luke? What would you rate the
Join
whole
the 9 club.
What would you rate the whole of Dark Eyes? Oh,
Yeah,
Luke.
think-
No, can't hear Luke. So anyway, what we're going to do now?
Well, should we talk about Doom Coalition? Because I think that's a nice little segue.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Right, who wants to talk about Doom Coalition then? About the details that we have.
You start off.
I'll just load the page up first so I know what I'm going to talk about.
Anyone's talking first, or do you want me to start?
You can go first while I try and find the page.
Alright. Well, yes, you know, it's the end of Dark Eyes, and now we're moving on to the lovely Doom Coalition, which will actually, you know, it's selling for 20 quid, so yeah, definitely get it, absolutely. But the box sets are pretty cheap. But yes, a new adventure of the Eighth Doctor with, of course, Nicola Walker returning as Livchenko, which, well, it's not a spoiler anymore because she's on the front cover, so I think everyone knows that she's back in action. And also with a new character, which is played by Haiti Morhan, I believe her name is. Morhan?
Yeah.
Something like that. I can't say her name
Patty Morahan.
correctly, but she's playing a character which is Helen. I can't say it.
Sinclair.
Sinclair. Yeah, which would be interesting. And also with the titles or the writers in it would be Matt Fitton, which yeah, hit and miss with me really. He's writing the first episode, the 11th. Then we have the return of the Master John Dorney, the Robert Holmes, a big finish, writing the Red Lady, which is episode 2. Episode
So that's
3
Helen
is...
Sinclair's first story.
Sorry?
That's Helen Sinclair's first story or episode.
Yeah. And episode 3, they got Leo Trap, which is Mark Platts, which Ben will be very happy about.
Yeah.
And we have a new writer writing. For me, it sounds the most interesting. The Satanic Mill. I love the title of it, which is Edward Collier, who's a totally new writer. I have not heard of him. I think he's new to Big Finish. But yes, welcome aboard, sir. I hope you write a good one.
Mm.
And yeah, and you know the enemy in this, the 11th, who's appeared in actually quite a couple of Big Finishes. He's done a lot of audio runs, and he's actually a really good voice actor. Yes, yeah, I've heard his stuff, and he's brilliant. So, anyone else?
Yep, I'll go next then. Doom Coalition sounds like a very interesting new thing, moving away from established villains like the Daleks and such, and the Eminent. Looks like we're going into a new, completely original villain for Big Finish. And it's going to tie into Gallifrey, which I'm really interested in.
Mm.
But one thing I'll say, Tom Webster's cover looks absolutely gorgeous, and the 11 looks absolutely psychotic. So yeah, the idea of the 11 sounds very intriguing. A Time Lord who retains the personalities of all of his previous incarnations, so has virtually developed schizophrenia as a result and become insane. So that's a good idea. I quite like the sound of Helen Sinclair, who's meant to be based on a character similar to Verity Lambert. I'm intrigued how they're going to do that on audio, but Hattie Morahan, who's appeared in Eddie Robson's sitcom Welcome to Our Village, Please Invade Carefully, also starring Peter Davison. So she's a good comic actress, but I'm not sure how she'll fit there with genre. I think she'll do a good job. She's a good
She was
actress.
in the Bletchley Circle, wasn't she, opposite Paul McGann?
Yeah, and she was in Arthur and George, that Arthur Conan Doyle drama recently,
Ah,
alongside Martin Clunes. So yeah, I think she's a good actress. Yeah, so I'm interested to see what she'll bring to the TARDIS team. I'm looking forward to more characterization of Livchenko. I think she was established as a good character by the end of Dark Eyes 4. And I'm particularly intrigued by the Galileo trap, which sounds like a very good Mark Platt historical there. I'm very interested in hearing that. Yeah. And I hope Edward Collier is a good writer.
yeah.
Hope so, sir. Don't be shy.
Do you want me to go next, Ben?
Yeah, you go next. Yeah.
Okay. I personally am quite looking forward to this box set. I like the idea it's a new era. The slate's now been wiped clean, and we're almost starting again. Obviously, we've still got Niv there, but there's no real threads hanging over from Dark Eyes. It's a fresh start, and I like how hopefully we're going in a little bit of a lighter direction. Not too light, not too whimsical, but just because the Eighth Doctor's now got his hope. Let's hope he keeps that throughout this series. And also, since it's planned as a series now, rather than just kind of like having Dark Eyes and then suddenly having the success of that mean that there's 3 more, this is actually planned to be 4, so hopefully that'll mean it will flow better. And not really sure what the title means just yet. Maybe that will be revealed by the end of the box set. Maybe we'll find out what that means, because right now we've only got 1 villain confirmed, and you kind of need...
You might be for the whole thing.
Yeah, but we kind of need more than 1 for a coalition.
Or he might be the coalition. His mind might be the coalition of them.
Yeah, that's true. So the 11 sounds quite interesting, kind of like going to Gallifrey and whatnot. Liv going to Gallifrey, that seems quite interesting by Matt Fitton. And then the Red Lady by John Dorney, that also sounds very interesting. The Galileo Trap is a wonderful title. Going back to Florence again, I think the Doctor's visited there a few times now on Big Finish and TV. And then finally there's the Satanic Meal, which, as Tom said, it's a very intriguing title and also a new writer. And also it's interesting that we got 4 different writers this time around, whereas Dark Eyes usually split between 1 or 2 writers. Dark Eyes 2 was 3 writers, but I think it's quite interesting that they've gone for 4 writers this time. So interesting to see how that works out, whether it flows as well, whether it's more kind of like individual stories. But yeah, on the whole, looking forward to doing Coalition 1 and doing Coalition as a whole. And Paul McGann's got his curly hair back.
Yay!
Hey, I've got to love that.
Mm.
Oh, for Doom Coalition for me, I'm quite excited about it really because it's more McGann. The 11, we all know my thoughts about that really, about what I'm hoping for in that. But Matt Fitton starting the box set, I'm a bit skeptical about because I feel that he may sort of be not the best choice.
Put it on a dud.
Yeah, put it on a dud really. I think he'll sort of ruin the tone of it for me really and just make me go, really? Is this really what he's going to be doing? I like the idea of having 4 different writers because I think it gives us, different styles of stories instead of having the same consistency throughout. Red Lady, John Dorney, so I'm expecting good stuff. My most anticipated one, the Galileo Trap, because Mark Platt did wonders with the Philip Hinchcliffe box set. So I'm expecting wonders with this and seeing what he's going to do with the 8th Doctor because I love the Silver Turk. So it'd be great to see him write another Eighth Doctor story. And Edward Collier, good to see fresh blood and really good title. And I hope that the story delivers. And the cover art, it's interesting. It's definitely got me sort of interested in this sort of story arc of the Doom Coalition.
Yeah.
It turns out to be the Liberal Democrat Conservative coalition. They are the villains behind it.
Oh God,
Yeah.
if it was.
I'm the 11, and I am David Cameron. He regenerates into David Cameron.
No.
I'm David Cameron, and
I'll
I'll
throw that right out the window.
I'll take over the world.
Oh, McGann fighting David Cameron's forehead. Yeah, that'd be alright.
10 out of 10 right there.
You can't
Paul
penetrate
McGann.
the man's fortress with my massive forehead. I've got a force field around my forehead.
No, not the Mind Probe.
Oh no, not the Mind Probe.
Not the fucking mind probe.
Fuck.
Should we have a look at the questions we've got?
Train Fan 44 asks, he's got quite a few actually. Once
That's
Doom
fine.
Coalition is over, do you think that the Eighth Doctor should be put back in the monthly range and then do a series of box sets with one of the other Doctors?
Not that, I think his monthly range is gone and over.
Yeah, it's been over for a while now. I mean, he left in 2006 or 7 from the main range.
And came back at 11.
Yeah. I think, well, that was just more like a one-off thing, but I think it's more. I'm glad that the Eighth Doctor has his own range because you can really break more ground with the Eighth Doctor, even though he's regenerated on screen now. I think you can still break more ground with his Doctor, and
Yeah.
I don't think with Paul's availability usually it's possible to make a monthly range contribution all the time. Nor can you do like the Fourth Doctor range have 8 stories a year. So that'd be difficult, but no, I'm happy with the box sets. It makes it feel more like events. The Eighth Doctor's adventures are events at Big Finish now, rather than just adventures coming out every month rather.
He also said a box set with another Doctor.
What's that mean?
Well, he means like
a series of box sets with another Doctor, so McGann goes into the main range and someone else leaves the main range to do some box sets, I guess.
No, because I think the main range is really the home of 5, 6, and 7. I think they're happy there. They've got their recurring storylines there, and 4's obviously got his own independent range.
The occasional box set, like the Last Adventure and whatnot,
Yeah, exactly.
is fine, but not a series of box sets.
I would think a novel adaptations would be good because I know a novel adaptations with the Fourth Doctor and the Eighth Doctor they could do called Wolf's Bane. That'd be quite interesting.
That would
Yeah,
be interesting.
adaptation.
But that has Sarah Jane and Harry in it though. So
Does it?
yeah.
Oh. I'm trying to think of multi-Doctor stories. There's actually quite a couple through the BBC book and the Virgin line where there's multi-Doctors which they could do.
I mean, I've said before I'd quite like them to adapt some Eighth Doctor BBC books. But
There are some good ones out there.
we've got to remember that most of those are part of a big story arc, though, about faction paradox and all that kind of stuff. So if you adapt some of the standalone stories, but I've heard the BBC books aren't as popular as the Virgin books are generally in terms of story. There aren't as
They find that they're pretty dull, some of them.
quite nips, but I wouldn't mind a couple of adaptations. I'd like to bring, as I've said before, I'd like to bring in Fitz Kreiner as a companion for the Eighth Doctor, like they did in the Company of Friends box.
Oh, interference. Oh,
Bring in
William
Fitz
McGann.
Kreiner.
oh.
Wouldn't that be a dream?
Bring in
And-
Fitz Kreiner. Sorry, Luke, what did you say?
To move on to the Train Fan's next question.
What was everyone else had to say?
Yeah.
I would say about the Eighth Doctor doing, I think the only way you're going to break the Eighth Doctor doing box sets is the novel adaptions.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only place you're going to get him out to do something. But he's still at the box set because it doesn't tie in. I feel that I like having the box sets because it feels like a series, as it were, and it is a series. So I
Maybe
feel
a
that
couple of bonus releases.
I was still saying novel
If some-
adaptations would be better.
Or maybe like
Yeah, novel
with Mary Shelley, maybe a one-off trilogy, just slotted in there on one occasion. But yeah,
I wouldn't mind that.
I agree with you, Ben. It feels more like an actual series of audios, series 1, series 2. And
I think that's covered that question.
Next one. Oh, I don't like the look of this question.
Should Big Finish do a Paternoster Gang series? No.
Next question.
if it's like my idea, make it a bit more like.
Don't even want them to touch Big Finish.
If it's more like Ripper Street, then fine, as I've said before. It could work on telly if it's like Ripper Street, but not as a mistake.
What do you think the mystery novel adaptation will be?
Cold Fusion.
I hope it's Cold Fusion.
Most
Yeah,
likely.
it seems the most likely.
Although
They
it,
got Matthew Waterhouse back now.
Exactly, and I've got 2 people casting Kissing Ross.
but I hope it's not. I wish it was something not Seventh Doctor, but it probably is.
But he
Mm.
slapped on. He
He's
slapped
too
on the-
dominant in that range.
Yeah, but yeah,
People are
Most
more
of the
keen for the Virgin novels. Though.
maybe yeah. I wanted something like the Virgin Missing Adventures, you know, because all the ones confirmed right now are all new adventures. The new ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's take Cold Fusion, and actually, the Fifth Doctor is quite good in that book.
I think it might be Sky Pirates.
Oh no! God,
Yeah,
it
Pirates
better
Book,
not
yeah.
be.
Hmm.
What about a Blood Harvest? Might be quite an interesting one.
Possible.
Does that warrant kind of like the 3-disc, presumably 6-part release?
Sorry?
Would that kind of like be worthy of a 6-part release? Would that fit better with a 4-part one? Blood Harvest.
I haven't read it personally. Although it does get Romana out of the E-Space. It does get Romana out of the E-Space in that storybook. There is an alternative explanation of that given in Gallifrey, so they probably won't contradict themselves.
I'm hoping it'll be this.
Yeah. It could
It
be.
probably won't be.
It could be a split story. The first disc will be Blood Harvest, and the second will be Opera Nan. Actually, they won't work with it. No,
That might be good.
But again, I think I'd quite like to adapt that. That's even a good story.
And well, I know it's too late, but it's a bit too late to do this one. But you mentioned it, Kai. So Vile Sin, but it's probably too late. It's too early for that. Sorry.
Yeah, a bit too early for So Vile Sin because that's quite an important story for Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a bit later.
Because it kills off a big character.
Yeah, I think now we've given it away because I said it's important story for Ross, and you said it killed off someone. It's not the biggest jigsaw puzzle in the
Honestly, who
world.
it killed off though?
Not the biggest jigsaw puzzle in the world.
No. On that note, I noticed that the Worlds of Big Finish only has 2 non-Doctor Who related ranges in it. Will this mean Sherlock Holmes and Dorian, or Darian, as he spells it,
Dorian.
Gray are in the Doctor Who universe?
Wow.
Well, you could just call this an experimentation.
We don't know how the story is going first. I still think it's going to be the multiverse thing where each series is in its own multiverse one, like Sherlock Holmes and Dorian Gray. But if you think about it, each character has appeared in the Doctor Who universe. Obviously, there's Graceless, Vienna, Bernie Summerfield, and the other one that I can't remember. They all exist in the Doctor Who universe. Sherlock Holmes, well, he exists in some form in the Doctor Who universe, as mentioned in *For Consuming Fire*. And Dorian Gray has appeared in a Bernie Summerfield, so I don't think they'll be the same versions of them. I think the Big Finish series of Sherlock Holmes and Confession of Dorian Gray aren't set in the Doctor Who universe, but these versions of Dorian and Sherlock are the ones from the Doctor Who universe.
Yeah.
So
The thing is, what's it called? They've already established that Arthur Conan Doyle is real. He is a writer, and they are fictional in in Jago and Lightfoot series 7, I believe.
yeah, but also in all-consuming fight, it's established that Arthur Conan Doyle bases his stories off of real people whose names
Ah.
they aren't really called Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. Those are just pseudonyms. The real characters' names aren't revealed. They're just called Sherlock and Watson, but people call them that because they are their fake names. But yes, they're still real characters, even if Conan Doyle still makes fictitious documents of their adventures.
Okay.
But it would be interesting if Dorian Gray was in the Doctor Who universe, because that means Dark Shadows is in the Doctor Who universe, because Dorian Gray is in the Dark Shadows.
Well, like I said, I don't think the Dorian Gray who appeared in the Bernie Summerfield story Shades of Grey is the same Dorian Gray that appeared in The Confessions of Dorian Gray. The Confessions of Dorian Gray and Dark Shadows are both supernatural series that obviously can't exist in the scientific universe of Doctor Who. So they've got their own universe. The Dorian that appears in Shades of Grey can exist in a more scientific Doctor Who universe, so he can fit. So there is a Dorian Gray in Doctor Who, but he's not the Dorian Gray who features in The Confessions of Dorian Gray.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then the Train fans' final question is there any characters in Big Finish that's only appeared once or twice that you think would make a good companion?
Frobisher!
Well, he is a companion.
Oh, no, not Frobisher.
Don't deny Frobisher. He's the god.
Have
He's
more
already a
characters.
companion, so
Yeah, but as a one-off, as someone who isn't a companion, there's a companion called Di Menzies, who's a policewoman from Manchester. She's kind of people keep saying that they want her to be a companion.
Is that from? Was
Sorry.
she in the Crimes of Thomas Brewster?
The Crimes of Thomas Brewster, yeah, she's in there.
I thought she was originally like Flip originally, but
No,
I preferred her character to Flip. Actually, I prefer her to Flip. I think
Really?
they should have used her to Flip.
well, the interesting thing is she first appeared in The Condemned, but in Crimes of Thomas Brewster, this is the Doctor's first meeting with her, despite the fact that, from her point of view, she has met the Doctor in The Condemned. So it's like a kind of River Song thing of the Doctor meeting her earlier, or meeting her later than she's met him. So yeah, that's quite an interesting look at a companion, similar to Moffat's style stuff.
But I would like her. Yeah. Now you mention it, I would like her.
Anyone else? I can't really remember anyone else. Come on.
Yeah, I'll just say Frobisher, because he's awesome.
I quite like Vlad the Impaler from Son of the Dragon.
Oh,
Interesting.
I'll actually have a listen to it.
The Doctor travelling with Vlad the Impaler. Right.
I'll bring him out, Frobisher.
Klein from... Oh no, we already have Klein from Colbis. Look.
Ooh, could we have Nimrod?
He's flipping brilliant, he is.
Nimrod could try and kill him though.
Yeah, it'd be like Klein in a way in Turlo, because
Yeah.
Turlo tried to kill him, so it'd be
Oh,
quite
hopefully
interesting.
Nimrod can do it better. Welcome to the Forge.
Yeah. Oh.
I can't think of anyone, so yeah, Di Menzies and Frobisher.
He's
and
awesome.
the Train
He's God.
fans'
Carry on.
the Train fans' final question is: do you ever start on time?
There is something
No.
called technical difficulties.
There is something called we decide when we start.
It's called lag and me being really bad with technology.
Technology.
In fairness, we weren't that bad previously. It's just this occasion we were late. The last time we haven't.
Past 2 weeks. Past 2 weeks have just been hell because of the glitches.
Glitchies all over the place. Do you want to move on to another one?
Yeah, Hoovian
Yeah.
Vortex asks TJ, when is part 5 of the DVD collection? I am dying for it! Exclamation mark.
Dying for
Serious.
Davison.
Yeah.
My thoughts on Davison. That will be out late April. There you go.
It's going to be the part 5 of the collection update. What's that about Davison?
Sorry, what was that?
What does part 5 have to do with Davison?
Because part 1 I went through William Hartnell's era. Part 2
Oh, yeah.
Trowen. I know.
Yeah.
But don't worry, I know a lot of what people are waiting for it. Don't worry, it's coming. It's not going to be like 6 months like part 4 was being like, it'll come out.
It is Davis, and it will take time.
Yeah, you gotta realise that.
Hmm.
Should we go on to the next
Arkham-
question?
J. Arkham Reviews asks, do you think that McGann needed a costume change, and what do you think of the costume?
Yes, he did need a costume change because it shows the different side of his Doctor, but he needed something more practical instead
Yeah.
of having the frock coat. I think the frock coat would have reminded him of days gone by. So I like the idea of the sort of navy pea coat thing, and I do like that costume. In general, it's not my personal favourite Eighth Doctor costume. My personal favourite is probably Night of the Doctor because I think it's a perfect amalgamation of his costumes in one. So I do like the Dark Eyes costume, but it'd be interesting to see where the Night of the Doctor costume fits into McGann's overall sort of story, as it were. But that will probably come later on.
It looks like it used to look much better, because it looks very beat up in Night of the Doctor.
Yeah. Well, Paul McGann's hair in the Doom Coalition cover looks a lot more Night of the Doctor-esque.
Yeah.
A bit more bouffant, a bit more scraggier.
Hmm.
In terms of costume, I agree with Ben. It's just a nice change, and plus it means you can have some updated photos of Paul McGann.
Yeah. And also, why should a Doctor keep the same costume throughout their entire era? Why should they not change their clothes every once in a while?
I mean, why don't they just wear clothes rather than an outfit? That's some
Yeah.
Be a Colin.
Yeah, exactly what Colin said. Yeah, I'd rather have a multicoloured nightmare. Put some, I don't know, a hoodie on, put some trackies, make the Doctor a chav.
Oh, I don't like
Wow.
that. I don't like that. He's an eccentric character. I don't like him being, a person you see down the Dole office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
working a joint or having a drink in a bin and a drink in a skip.
Oh, God.
I can actually see John Hurt's Doctor living in a skip. It's the bit.
Now you mention it, yeah, you can see it.
It's cobbled
No
together.
offense, John Hurt.
Obviously not John Hurt himself, he's far too good for that, but the Doctor's look, the War Doctor's look looks a lot like a homeless bloke. He knit the scarf from a bin, he knit the jacket from a bin. I don't know where he got that frock coat from.
And J. Arkham Reviews also said that he thinks the mystery novel adaptation might be the New Adventures novel Bloodheat. The Silurians haven't been used in ages, and the story is interesting. The only problem is that it featured the Brigadier, close open bracket, but I guess they could use Kate Stewart instead, since she is on board with Big Finish.
I don't think they should use Kate Stewart to replace the Brigadier. That's what I meant.
Nah, that wouldn't really work continuity-wise either.
Yeah, possibly Bloodheat. I mean, Bloodheat is set in 1970s, so she's not really an adult by that point. But, also,
Could always use Captain Yates in his place.
They could, but it's also got Liz Shaw in it as well.
It does.
And it's quite an ambitious story that I'm not really sure would work on audio. I mean, the whole point of it is that it's set in an alternative universe with a Silurian took over the Earth, and the whole place looks like a massive jungle with dinosaurs in it. So, could be, but I doubt it.
It's
It would
doubtful.
be interesting if it did end up being that.
Could be interesting.
Adam from the Ultimate Whovian got a question relying on Trial of the Valiant. So he says, what are your thoughts on any of the bonus releases? He says he just got Trial of the Valiant yesterday and he's really intrigued by it. Also by Night of the Stormcrow. And
Ooh.
there's only 12, maybe less, and looks diverse and interesting, like Revenge of the Daleks and Earthly Child. Revenge of the Daleks? I haven't heard of a Big Finish novel called that.
Very.
Return of the Daleks, isn't it?
It's like Planet of the Daleks, sort of after.
Probably means return, because I've never heard of one called Revenge of the Daleks.
Yeah, it's the Daleks returning to Spyrodon and trying to revive the Daleks that were frozen.
In the ice, yeah.
Mm.
Well, I'll just get Trial of the Valiant, Adam, if you're interested in getting the Sixth Doctor adventure, because I find it, a tease to go to that. So get it because of that.
Yeah, get that. It's a good story.
I oh, Night of a Stormcrow, I have to say, is one of the best Tom Baker stories. It's quite dark in places and is definitely one from Tom. And I know you're a big fan of Tom, so I think it's definitely worth checking out. And it's a cracker.
Do
By
it for
Mark
Tom,
Platt.
Adam.
You can't go wrong. It's Tom and Mark Platt and Leela. Amazing combination.
You said about any of the bonus releases, so
What other bonus releases are there? Let's have a look.
Sharda!
yeah, Charlotte's good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if you
Right.
well subscriptions, but don't if you're planning on doing a subscription, don't do the 4 Doctors.
No,
Or the
five
multi-
companions. 5 companions do that. 5 companions.
Do the well, I haven't even got that, but don't do the 4 Doctors. It's not subscribers get more from Big Finish. It's subscribers get ripped off at Big Finish.
The Maltese Maltese
let's see what
penguin.
else.
Frobisher.
Get the Maltese Penguin, just all because of Frobisher.
An Earthly Child.
Is that any good? I haven't listened to it. I assume it is. Oh, God.
It's quite good.
Protons return.
Return of
Return of
the,
the Croton sounds a bit blah.
Return of the Croutons, maybe not.
Return of the Dominators. I'd prefer that.
The Return of the Quarks.
Yeah.
Return to the
No,
web.
even better.
Return to the web planet.
Return of the Web Planet. Oh no.
Maybe not.
That says it all. I mean,
And it's Davison as well.
Get the
I
word.
listened to the Whovians cast about Return to the Web Planet, and apparently it's quite a good story, which intrigues me.
Oh.
The cover's not looking too good though.
Yeah, it seems a bit pop artish.
Yeah.
As I've said, get the word Lord for 99p. That's a good little half-an-hour story that sets up a death in the family.
Oh, yeah.
Return of the
That's said to be
Daleks.
one of the best 7th Doctor stories there. The one you just said.
Yeah, death in the family. Return of the Daleks. That's meant to be quite good. It ties into Dalek Empire as well, apparently. Cryptobiolysis. That I've not heard anything about that. A Final Flight. That's meant to be a good little two-hander. Real Time. Yeah, I'd say get that. That's a good story.
Real Time never, but the cliffhanger
Yeah,
never gets resolved. So you don't know what happens.
I think you can assume you know what happens next. She doesn't turn the world into Cybermen. Spoilers. We know what happens because Maggie Stables isn't a Cyberman.
Is there any more?
The Maltese Penguin, 33.5.
Get it for Frobisher.
Yeah, get it. Yeah, it's good like spoof of the film noir detective story.
But it is a Dr. Light. I'll give you that much.
It's Dr. Light, but it's not Colin Baker Light.
It's Frobisher heavy.
Yeah, but it's not Colin Baker Light.
No, it's
The Doctor only appears in about 3 scenes, but Colin Baker's in it throughout virtually.
I'm trying to think of some other ones.
That's all really. That's all on the
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. Might as well just refresh the page. Any more snazzy questions?
If we'll wrap it up.
Don't buy the Maltese Penguin, it's rubbish. Frobisher is amazing.
Who said don't buy the Maltese Penguin?
Frobisher
didn't
can
put
kick
that one.
anyone's ass.
The train fan said that.
I didn't hear who said that. The train
The
what?
train fan.
Train,
Oh,
train fan, you don't know what you're talking about. The Maltese Penguin.
we love Frobisher.
Yeah. Anything else now?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
We wrap it up then?
Yeah, we can mop everything up.
We do plugs and then say goodbye, and then that's us done for another month.
Yes, we will see you next time.
Oh, we're going now.
We're saying our goodbyes and advertising us.
Do we
Okay.
have a topic for Big Finish Fans 5 yet, or is that closely under wraps?
Secrets.
You're
I'll
I
gonna
know
mention
if it's
it.
a secret.
you're gonna
I'll
tell me.
mention it. I'll tell you off air. Keep it a surprise for them.
Shh.
Okay. It's
Well,
Terrorhawks.
I'm sort of.
It's not
Well, I'm gonna-
Terrorhawks.
Pretty terrible.
You know,
Well,
I
I'm
won't even be here if it's Terrorhawks. I just won't
I
join.
wouldn't. It would just be an empty
Just be
hangout.
Kai on his own with Terrorhawks.
I haven't listened to it, so I haven't a bloody clue what's
You're
in
the
it.
only one who's listened to it. Just be you.
Oh.
I haven't listened to it, I told you.
Oh, you haven't? Alright.
No, I'm going to listen to it. I don't like it.
Alright, no one will be there for the Terrorhawks. It's not
Well,
even
I'm
gonna
gonna
happen, don't worry.
All I'm gonna say is we're looking down a controversial line of stuff. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I like
Oh.
controversy.
That's all.
So who's going to say the first goodbye?
I'll say goodbye.
All right.
I'll say it. Why not? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, all right,
so
go on.
Go and advertise yourself and say goodbye.
Yes. Why they should subscribe to you?
subscribe to me because I'm desperate and I have nothing else to do. No. Yeah, I do not solely, I mainly do Big Finish reviews. I review lots of Big Finish, although I'm having a break because I've been releasing a lot of stuff recently, but the next thing that should be coming out is Series 1 of my Big Finish Gallifrey reviews. So
Oh.
stay tuned for that.
Oh.
That should be forthcoming. So yes, that's all from me tonight, and Disturbers the Fipster, out.
I'll go next. Subscribe to me because I have no videos coming out next week because I'm away. But I will be having We're in Dawn coming out tomorrow on Sunday, and then hopefully when I get back on Saturday, I should put out a review of the Aztecs or something. And that's basically my plan. Hopefully it all goes according to that. And this is TARDIS Guy 123 saying bye bye.
Tom, are you there? Oh,
Wow.
he's gone.
Promise gonna have to talk
I
him
bet-
down.
He's gone to the dark corner. Well, we've got Gromit. That's a good start.
Tom's
That's
gone
nice
to the
out,
dark. Tom's gone to the dark places of the inside.
Oh, Live 34. That's a dark place.
Night
He doesn't
thoughts
like
need
it,
that.
does he?
No, Night Force is good. Night Force is very, very good.
Tom. There we are.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
back!
We've bought the Bannerman and got you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
we thought-
Bannerman. But any of you sent them?
Anyway, come on then.
Anyway, advertisements. Yeah, I've actually just released a review not long ago with Scherzo because Live 34 it didn't want to upload. And I've recorded it about 4 times now, and it still says no to me. Yeah, so I just uploaded Scherzo, which I recorded a week ago, so you can just go watch that if you want to. And videos planned. I've pretty much recorded everything now on my about section, except for the new releases coming out, like the Defectors and Deathmatch. Of course, I haven't recorded them because they're not out yet. And you know, the DVD collection Part 5, don't worry, that's happening. And also the new channel, which has got a whole lot of subscribers, even though I haven't even done anything on it. So yeah, thank you very much for that. But yeah, I got the review of Survivors coming up on that, which should be pretty cool. So hope you enjoy that. But I am having a little bit of, yeah, as I said, I'm having a big issue editing and uploading stuff because my software keeps denying it, and I'm getting really annoyed. So I have to keep recording things over and over again, so it has to work, and it keeps corrupting my files, so it's not good. But yeah, I'll get them out slowly. That's why it's a bit of a delay on stuff. But yeah, hopefully even the Entropy Plague or Requiem for the Rocket Man will be tomorrow. Just which one ever I upload, I don't know, but it'll be one of them. And yeah, that's me. And yeah, I will be having my long YouTube break sometime soon after late April, and I'm just gonna go off and have a break because I've never had a YouTube break when I first started. So I just need one.
I'll come back for Big.
I'll come back for Big Finish Fans 5. Don't worry.
Come out of retirement for a brief period.
So this is me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this snazzy hangout. Thanks you snazzy lot.
Thanks
Bye.
for waiting.
Yes, so don't forget the Whovian High Counter where you can see all of us on, because we do them generally. I think the next one's Mind of Evil, but they need to see the Sea Devils first, so that's exciting. For me, you've got the entry plague review, which is uploading right now as we speak. Then we're going to do some requests, which is Minuet in Hell, Crooked Man. We're going to look at the 5th Doctor box set and Point of Entry. So we've got all that stuff to look forward to. And of course, Big Finish Fans 5, which I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm going to say it to these guys in a minute. So for now, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and sorry about the technical issues we had last week. Hopefully it's been worth the wait. So thank you very much, and goodbye.